All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on our tool Strategy Builder. Very happy that everyone's joined me today. I'm Bobby Argidis, Senior Investment Specialist here at National Bank Direct Brokerage. Very happy to go over this tool with you. And maybe, again, I think some more people are still signing in, but maybe just to start off, for those of you who the material that'll be talked about in the next 30 minutes. We actually have a quick YouTube video where it's been condensed into about I think 7 minutes or 8 minutes, 8 minutes max. So just so you know, if there's anything that wasn't clear, or you'd like to come back, I think the YouTube video is probably your best option. So this can be found under the tools and tutorials heading, and you want to click on Trading Central. And if you scroll down the page, we actually talk about the three tools that we offer from Trading Central, but specifically the one on Strategy Builder. Here you go. It's called Validate Your Investment Strategy with Strategy Builder. So by all means, I think it's a 7-8 minutes, very well spent. So if there's any additional questions, I think this video here will be quite useful. Well, let's get started. I'm gonna log. I've already logged in actually into the test account. And at the same time, I'm going to assume the vast majority of you are already clients of National Bank Direct Brokerage. So I think if you have a second screen, for example, or if you can split your screen, I think it's worthwhile log into your own brokerage account, and we'll discover the tool together if that's all right with everyone. At its most basic function, Strategy Builder is a stock screener. But honestly, and you can use it just for that purpose. But it's like it's like buying a Jeep and never going off roading, right? Or trying to go through the mud. So yeah, it'll do the job. But really, the tool can do so much more. So let's start by getting to the section. So to reach Strategy Builder, you can find it under the Markets heading. And if you scroll down, you'll find it under Trading Central. And we'll let that scroll in there. Load, sorry. And so we're in the Trading Central section, and it is the third heading, so Strategy Builder. And here you have it. So in essence, for those, in essence, you can the tool can be used in two ways. For those of you who really want to use this as a pure stock screener, it's very simple. You can click on Screening, and just a few things you have to start off with. You have to decide, and again, it could be, you can see the exchange that you're looking at. You can say, well, you know what, I want Canada, US, or I want Canada, or I want, for example, just the TSX. So it's just a question of how wide of a net you're looking to cast to find stocks. And to be clear, Strategy Builder will find stocks, REITs. I think they also do preferred shares. So it will not find exchange traded funds. So we're staying within the stock category. And so, for example, just for the fun of it here, let's just say, okay, I'm looking for stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and I am looking for common shares. And by clicking on more criteria, you have all these choices over here. So it's very straightforward in the sense that so again, market capitalization. If you want to be specific, you can choose a sector or industry. So here we go. I click on this. These are different sectors, and if you let's see if you look at basic materials, you can really be very go into really detail and say, I'm looking for steel, forest products, whatnot. If I go back into the tool, again, more criteria. So just take a moment to take everything here. So again, there's a fundamental section. So again, if you want to look at for dividends, dividend yield, dividend growth rate, debt. So you're looking, let's say, to filter out companies with high debt loads. Again, there's financials, valuations, growth in earnings, performance, volume. And what's interesting with Strategy Builder versus other such tools is that they let you essentially a typical criteria will look at again the fundamentals and maybe certain tradings, but they don't integrate technicals. Here you can integrate technical analysis to get your information. So there's all these categories, and you can choose them, and the tool will spit out the information. So for those of you who are purists and want to use it the old-fashioned way, you have it here. A lot of choice. And they've even added a section on trading central continental insights. They're different ratings. Um, Now, some of you might say, "Oh, this is a little bit heavy. Is there anything that can help me with this?" And the actual yes, sure. So you can click on Help Me Choose criteria, or if you go back to the main page. So again, we go back to screening. You can click on, I believe it's this one, discover top rated stocks. So this is a little bit of a walkthrough. It'll ask you some questions that you can fill out, and it'll give you information. So I hope that's something that some of you could be interested in. But going back to the tool, I think what I want to show you today is for those of us who maybe want a little bit of a helping hand in how to use it. So for that, we're going to look at Discover section. So these are pre-built screens. It's going to make your life. It makes your life a little bit easier. So the first screen we have here are themes. So for example, 5G, AI. These themes, they can change. They add them. Some that they'll take away. So for example, Berkshire Hathaway Corporation holds, apart from having private companies, they also hold public companies. So for example, if you wanted to use filters on Berkshire Hathaway, or you want to see what Berkshire Hathaway is holding, you'd have it here. If I go through here, for example, there's, if you're looking for defense companies, if I keep on going down, if a client's looking for, I'm looking for low volatility stocks. So you'd have that here. So let's say we choose low volatility stocks as an example for one of the themes. So what they've done here is they've provided us a list of low beta and low volatility stocks, ideal for reduced risk exposure. And I've got 411. And again, wide net here, right? So let's say I'm looking to have just in Toronto. So we're down to 76 matches, and I want just common shares. I know someone's going to say, Bobby, you said they don't offer ETFs. This is for the wide net. When you actually get into the more criteria, ETFs aren't going to be possible. So just I wasn't making it up. It's just so you know. So here now we're down to 73, and from here you can go to more criteria and add your. So let's say, for example, let's do this for the fun of it. Let's say I'm looking for dividend yield, for example. And I want at least, 3%, let's say. And now we're down to 25 matches. So it's very straightforward. So you can add your other. So let's say you want to add, price performance over the last 13 weeks. And I am not looking for negative returns. I only want my return to be at least 5%. And again, we're down to 6 matches. So you can see the tool is very, very, very straightforward. And so what it does, as you put in your criteria, this number comes down, and they'll always highlight the top 10. Obviously here, because let's say bring it down to 0. See if I can get that number a little bit higher. I'm at 15. Perfect. So they'll have the top 10 over here, and it explains why it's part of the top 10. So this is how the tool comes out with the information. And again, for those of you who want to go a little bit further, you can export this and play around with it. So this is one of the ways that you can play with the tool. So this was looking at the themes. Then we have preset screens. So here we're going to go into more detail. So again, here's one, let's say top performer, sorry. So here they're looking at stocks with the highest combined positive performance over 3 main time frames, worst rated stocks, top dividends, revenue and earnings value stocks. If you're more into technical analysis, here are bullish chart patterns. As I go down the screen, there's a little bit here. I've got mid cap leaders, small cap leaders, undervalued dividend payers. So these are screens. You can use these screens and use that to search for your stocks, or you can use them as a base. So let's say we look at value stocks, for example. So again, quite a few matches. Let's say, you know what? Let's see what we're. I know I chose Canada before. Let's choose the states, and we're looking for. Let's just say USA. All right, so 319 matches. And well, I'm curious, like, what did they choose, right? So I can, for example, I can click on bulk edit over here on the right hand side, and these are the criteria that were chosen. Now you can play around with this. So, for example, you know what? They put in a minimum stock price, right? So let's say, well, you know what? I'm just looking for stocks that are at least, I don't know, $10, at least $10, and okay, didn't really move very much, but let's say I want at least 25, just to get the lower price stocks out of there. So I'm down to 285, perfect. You know what? Market cap, we can leave it as is. Um, let's say return on investment. So they put it at 0.1. Well, I don't want 0.1. Let's say I want at least maybe a 5%, and it's dropped to 243. So again, you can play around with these numbers, and as you go through it, the changes appear right away. All right. So we'll go back to the Discover screen, and again, we did pre screens. Now we're looking at community screens. Now, community screens are actually screens that have been submitted by our clients and clients of Trading Central Strategy Builder. So these are people who were playing around with a tool and decided to share what they were looking at. It's as simple as that. So, for example, and again, so this is not these are this is basically the average investor. So go through it. Take this with a grain of salt. Some of them, well, this one here, to 24.8. Some of them are better than others. And again, nothing stops you going through this screen, taking a look at it, and you can always, for example, then make certain changes. So, for example, here I got stocks with strong upward momentum. Um, you know, uh, okay, it seems to be good companies. Okay, here we go. U.S. technology stocks within, and again, so you have quite a bit of choices, and you can click on more. So, but again, keep in mind that these are screens that were created by users like yourselves. A lot of my colleagues actually go through this screen and they go through it. Nothing. No one has the perfect recipe, and for example, if you see one that you like, you can go in there and maybe play around with it. We'll go to the last category now, which is called expert strategies. So these are the strategies that have been built by Trading Central. They have an analyst team, and again, I've got U.S. value stocks. So these are followed, updated technology stocks, Canadian value stocks, a little bit of everything in here, and so let's say, for example, so this is I'll actually make our example using this one here. So let's say I'm looking for value stocks. But you know what? This screen aims to pinpoint value opportunities in the U.S. in U.S. stocks, concentrated on identifying robust, undervalued companies compared to the S&P 500. So there's a big explanation here. And if I scroll down, I can see what's been chosen. I can click on more criteria, and you'll see check marks next to the categories that they chose. If not, I can go back again to bulk edit and see what they've put here. And just like previously, I can play around with it, right? Um, so let's say the quality factor. You know what? I don't want 55. I want 60. And so I've got 39 matches. Well, how about I prefer Canada. I don't know what's going to happen. So hopefully, okay, I'm at 19 matches. Not bad. How about I'm going to add one more criteria in here, and I'm looking for a dividend yield. I want something that pays me a dividend, and I'm looking for at least 2%. And let's cross our fingers. Is it still okay? Maybe 1%. Okay, let's take out dividend yield then. But you see, you can piggyback on their screens or make your own, right? So for example, if you're like, oh, I'm looking for value stocks. Well, what are value stocks? How do I, you can find screens in here where it's already been set up for you. So let's work with what they have here because we did modify it. I put the quality factor to 60, and let's just put the value factor also at 60, and I'm down to 14 matches. And here they show me they've highlighted the top 10 um, that are on the TSX. And again, I can see the ratings over here. I can see the earnings, the return on investment. And so, what can I do with this? Well, the next step is if you wanted to, obviously you could look at these stocks, write down the symbols, and maybe perhaps go into our research section and they get a quote to see, what National Bank Financial or what Morningstar Canada thinks about it. So you have that option. Or let's say you'd say, well, what does the strategy look like? Is it a decent strategy? And this is basically, remember when I used the analogy of buying a Jeep and going off road. Well, this is where Strategy Builder lets you go off road, but in a positive way. So if I scroll down the page, we can do a back testing on this on this particular strategy. So obviously, I put it to Canada. So the TSX 60 is the one I'm looking. Well, actually, you know what? Let's go for the composite index, and I'm going to click on recalculate, and let's just call this 123. It's going to take a few moments to calculate. So to be clear, what it's doing is it's basically back testing, going back up to 5 years. But to be clear, it's not looking at how these particular securities would have done in the last 5 years. It's the filters, the criteria that were put in place. So they're looking at this stuff over here. They're not looking at these top 10. So what it's assuming is basically every 3 months we're running the numbers again. So what that means is basically every three, it's a buy and hold, and at 3 months we're back testing it. We're basically looking at what happened. So for example, 3 months from now, it could be that for example in the top 10, maybe Fortuna Mining fell off the list, and maybe I don't know Fairfax replaced it or something else. So what you're looking at here, the strategy and the potential returns that are shown are based on the strategy and not the underlying security. So there could be, for example, let's say so depending on what the strategy is, there could be trading involved if you want to replicate it as faithfully as possible. So if I scroll down, I can see here that the TSX Composite Index during a 5-year period, well, it's up 80%, and while this one over here is up 407, so pretty impressive. I can see that it's done relatively, it's done well. And for example, so if let's say you like the strategy and you're like, hey, you know what, I'd like to keep this for future use. Well, guess what? If we scroll up the page, you can save it. So we'll click on save, and I'm going to call this now Canadian value stocks. And here's a description. You can, again, we can use, let me just put Canadian here, Canadian stocks. Say here I'll take out S&P because we changed it, right? So we'll just the TSX. And again, you can keep this description. You can change it. And so what you want is basically, you put in your email address, and for example, you can say, oh, well, I'd like to be here, and I'm looking for monthly. So you would like to be, for example, advised if you put in your email address. Um, you will be advised if, for example, the top 10 changes. So, it's basically there's a follow up. And here, this is where you decide if you want to share it. Again, you can share it with the community or you can put private. If I don't know. Everyone's different. If I found the secret recipe to make millions, I'd probably keep it private. But it all depends. And then you can click on Save Screen. Obviously, I didn't put an email address, but and so this basically it'll be kept for you. But let me just put an email address here just for Save Screen, and the screen is saved. So what's interesting is if I go, is it here? Nope, sorry. I believe it's this one. There you go. So if you click on the star, I have it here. I have my screen, so I can go back to consult it at a later time. So this is essentially what's Strategy Builder does. You know what? Let me go through to see if I've got if questions came in. Okay, so I got a question from William. William, no, they haven't created a screen for short interest, but I suppose on some level, if we go back to screening more criteria, if we go under trading, within the again, if you're looking at price performances, obviously if you're looking for negative price performances, and if you then add in technicals for bearish patterns or bearish indicators, you'd be able to take a look at for stocks that. That would fall under that category. Now, for those of you who are maybe questioning, well, what's TC Quantamental Insight? It's based on their other tool called Fundamental Insight. Again, again, you can, let's say you wanted a value portfolio and you didn't know which metrics to use. They're confusing. Well, you know what? You can use one of their preset screens, or you can say, you know what? I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm just gonna choose their value factor rating and have that as my main criterion. And I'm looking for stuff at 60. For example. So there's a lot of opportunities here to play with this tool. So this is not a daily tool to use. Obviously with the criteria, anything related to price obviously changes on a daily basis. But if you're looking at certain for earnings per shares and stuff like that, it's on a monthly or quarterly basis where this stuff is gonna change. So it's one of those tools where you're gonna use quite a bit at first until you decide what's the strategy you're looking to replicate to create, and then after that you'll save it and you'll receive the occasional email. So it's not a high, it doesn't demand a lot of your time, and I think it's one that a lot of investors can benefit with. So let's say if I go back here to my Canadian value stocks, you could, for example, go back. Okay, well, Urbana, and let's say I'd like to go look at Fundamental Insight and see what do they think of Urbana. So again, overall rating of 71. The factor scores look very interesting apart from income. And I've got a 12-month price target. So again, if in our case, a lot of the stocks were more smaller cap that showed up. But if we went back, let's say to the preset screens, and I went, you know what, let me look at top dividends, and I want Canada. So, for example, if you were looking through this screen, I'm like, well, I kind of like I like Whitecap Resources. Well, you know what? You could take the symbol WCP, go under Get a Quote, and we see here that it's covered by National Bank Financial, so it's an outperform. If I scroll down a bit, I've got analysis, so I could actually download the research report and see, again, as a secondary source to validate the security. So there's many different ways that you can use this tool. And maybe like one more little side mention. In here, we have this thing called Morning Brief. Again, for those of you who who don't want to log in every single day, or you're just looking to see what's happening with the markets, you can actually subscribe for this, or or log in and see it here. But if you subscribe, put in your email address. It's sent every morning, I think by like 8 o'clock, the latest. You'll receive it, and it's basically a summary of what's happening for the next day. And again, there's stuff on the pre-market, U.S. snapshot, Canadian snapshot, for example, what's happening before the bell, earnings expectation calendar, Canadian snapshot, and then some stocks. So this could be something that some of you might be interested in looking at. Um, I'd like to thank everyone. Have yourselves a great afternoon. Thanks. Bye.